Hello, everybody, and welcome to Tighten Up Tuesday number 9 here on Curtis's Podcast Network. I'm your host, Curtis Brown, and with me, as always, is the lovely Blake Bellamy, our resident Titans fan. We are going to be breaking down the Titans draft class and talking a little bit about maybe what some of these guys can do for the team and what needs to be addressed further. But before we get into that, go ahead, hit the like and subscribe buttons. We got a 10-like goal on this episode. The Tighten Up Tuesday podcast have yet to get that mark, so today could be the day. But I guess Friday.
Tighten Up Friday.
Tighten Up Friday.
At least hit a like button for Steve McNair. It's episode 9. So if you don't like this video, you do not respect Steve McNair. So let's stew on that.
Yeah. For the memory of Steve, smash the like button. But yeah, so also hit the subscribe button. We're trying to get to 1,000. We're at 338 at the time of this recording. So help us grow. You can be a part of that. We're working on merch. I've got a Run the Damn Ball shirt that is in the works. I've put it, the graphics are on the shirt. So now it's just, I gotta decide when I want to bring back the store. You guys in the comments, let me know if you would be interested in any merch. We have, this AFC South show related stuff. So, yeah, of course, Blake's repping one of them. So, let's get into it. Tighten Up Tuesday 9. Blake, what's up, pimp?
No, man, I'm just excited for something going on in the NFL world. It's been nice. We're seeing a lot of dominoes falling, and we're about to start mini camps and stuff, rookie camp. So, I mean, I think now is like the real start of football season. I mean, we had free agency period, but the fun only lasts for like a week, and everything else kind of dies off for a month until now. So it's exciting stuff.
Can't help but to agree. And the Titans had one of the more controversial drafts, I guess.
For sure.
In the sense of all offense for the first time in franchise history, not a single defensive player selected. 2 linemen, which was a need going in. You got a tight end out of Cincinnati, Josh Weil. You got a wide receiver in the 7th round, which we'll get into a little bit, I guess. The running back from Tulane is an interesting selection there in the, was it the 3rd?
3rd round. A little early, I feel like, but a little early, but
right. And then, of course, the main marquee name that everyone is a little up in arms about here, Will Levis, in basically the top of the 2nd round. So let's start with the lesser known people, or maybe the people that you agree with the selection immediately, and then we'll work our way up to the more controversial stuff.
I think the Titans, I was very happy day one. We did the live draft show, and I was pretty pumped whenever I saw Peter Skoronski's name go across the board as he's a Tennessee Titan. So I'm super happy with that pick. It was a huge need. I said it was our biggest need for the Titans, and we have a day 1 starter. So I think they nailed that pick, or at least the position. It's right. It's the right pick.
Okay. What is another pick the Titans made where you were like, okay, yes?
It's going to be a while. I'm going to say Josh Wiley. I think he was the next one, which was the 5th round. Yeah, 5th round, number 47 overall, tight end from Cincinnati. That guy was a beast in college. He did catch passes from Desmond Ridder, who was incredible in college. So there's some of that. He did have good quarterback play in college, but the guy can make plays. He's a freak athlete. One of the things that Rand Carthon and Mike Vrabel advocated for was athletes and speed, and they're getting that with that. So I'm super pumped by that pick. So he'll really also be a starter. Titans usually run 2 tight end sets, so it'll be him and Chico Okonkwo. So we got a starter there, so happy about that.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it was a position of need, and it's about time that Vrabel picked up one of his homie coaches.
That was the first thing I thought. I was like, wow, finally a Cincinnati guy.
Yeah. Okay, so 5th round selection there. Is there any other picks that the Titans made where you were just like, yes?
Another one was again another position of need. It's gonna be round 6. Um, Jalen Duncan, offensive lineman from Maryland. He played outside, but he said he's very willing to play inside, so that's huge. Another guy's versatile is something that Rand Carthon was looking for, was versatile athletes that can play multiple positions, and we get that with Duncan in the offensive line. He's a guy, if we had the same kind of injuries as last year, the guy might be a starter by week 3, but hopefully not.
I've heard that he might be challenging for a starting job with any of the guys that they brought in. That's
Yeah, I
how
think
high they are on him.
Yeah, I think he could definitely start at maybe right guard, left guard, him versus the other guy with the interesting name. I can't remember his name, Brunskill, from San Francisco. So we'll see. The offensive line is going to look 100% different from last year. So anybody could start anywhere, and I wouldn't be shocked. I think the only thing you could really pencil in is going to be Nicholas Petit-Friere at right tackle. Everything else is up for grabs. 4 open spots.
Yeah. I mean, that's a pretty good assessment there. I'm not gonna lie to you. All right. So the 7th round wide receiver. Tell me about this man.
Well, he's an athletic freak. He's
What's his
6'3".
name?
Um, Colton Dowell,
Out of UT Martin.
University of Tennessee Martin, powerhouse football team. Can't even remember what their team name. I just remember reading their team. I think it was Skyhawks. I think that was
Yeah,
right.
I think that's
Skyhawk.
right.
Interesting. So they have not had a player drafted since 2013, and I don't think he made it to the Hall of Fame or Pro Bowl. So we'll see what happens here. He's fast. He's athletic. I understand why they like him. Incredible good numbers. He even put up 100 yards on the University of Tennessee. So that was interesting. Mike Vrabel made the joke. That's why he drafted him. I like the pick, I guess. 7th round. I mean, who knows what's going to happen, but we need a wide receiver as a position of need. So I understand why we picked him. I just thought we'd pick a wide receiver a little bit earlier than that.
Yeah, I think everybody did. I think the surprise running back selection in the 3rd kind of was where everybody was assuming that the Titans would make a move at receiver, myself included. But no, and they went with a guy who doesn't even have an ACL and has arthritis in his knee, Mr. Spears, Tajay Spears.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, if you watch his highlights, that man is a human joystick.
yes.
Um, Everyone's been comparing him to Tony Pollard, and I see that. But honestly, the way he can juke and the fake out people and the way he can spin is going to be a wild comparison. But he reminds me a lot of Reggie Bush in that aspect. Not as fast, but the guy's got some jets on him. He can run. He's a guy that can make one cut and be gone. I mean, I like the player. I don't like the pick. He was projected to go in the 2nd round, so incredible value from him there, especially in this deep running back class. If it wasn't for Bijan, I mean, he could be the first pick. I know Gibbs was very, very high on a lot of people's list, but Spears is incredible. He does have those health concerns. He doesn't have an ACL, which that doesn't bother me as much as the arthritis. Arthritis is what got Todd Gurley, if I'm not mistaken. So I do like the player. The pick was puzzling. My issue with that is we traded so far back in the 3rd round, and wide receivers just kept coming off the board, off the board, off the board. And I think Tennessee was looking at a wide receiver there, but I mean, there was like 5 wide receivers went off the board,
Yeah.
and at that point, the value just wasn't great. We didn't have a 4th round pick, so the Titans just kind of screwed themselves in that way. They probably should have traded up. We'll get into that trade in a little bit, but they should have done whatever they could to get back into the 4th round and at least snag a wide receiver. I think the only one that was left that kind of made sense was Tyler Scott, but even then, that was a huge reach in the 3rd round. So I understand them getting a guy who can play, but I just don't understand drafting a guy in the 3rd round that's probably going to play 6 snaps a game.
Yeah.
So that concerns me. So that was not a position of need.
See, my thing is like, I feel like you draft day 1 starters 1st round, possible starters 2nd round, potential starters in the 3rd, like people who would be at least competing for reps. And I'm not necessarily that this applies this season, but maybe it makes Derrick Henry expendable if he can show something and actually like put to bed the arthritic knee issues. But speculation.
Mhm.
Um, which I believe leaves us with Will Levis as the second round pick there. But
Mhm.
before we get into that, I want to make some corrections about some stuff that I personally have been saying on the channel that I heard recently is not true. One, he only put mayo in his coffee on one singular occasion, on a dare, and it was a lot of mayo. So he doesn't actually put mayo in his coffee like recreationally. He said he actually doesn't drink coffee, but it was a dare. Second, he doesn't eat bananas with the peel on them. It's not a thing. Not a thing that he does. So I just wanted to address the elephant in the room before we carried on.
Why did he take a video of him eating the peel though? Was
I
that just a one
cannot.
thing?
Right. It was a one-time thing, and I believe it was also some sort of dare thing. It might have been something ridiculous for like the ice bucket challenge, but eat the peel. I don't know. I don't recall exactly why that happened, but was a one-time thing.
Hmm.
So, with that, you can hit your spiel now.
Okay, so Will Levis. There's a lot to unpack here. I mean, the Titans traded up to get him. So the trade, I think it was a bad trade. I don't think he would have been there at pick 11 in the second round for the Titans where they were originally at. So I understand if you really want a guy, you can't pass him up, take him. My issue with that is we have Tannehill. He's locked in. I mean, like $37 million cap hit. If we're trying to trade him, I mean, we're not getting anything out of him. And we're still going to probably have to pay a lot of money in dead cap. If we cut him, a lot of money in dead cap. So as a business decision, I think it's a bad idea.
Right.
We also traded up last year for a quarterback in the third round. So now we have three quarterbacks. Any of them could be the starter. I doubt Malik is, but we don't even know how Will Levis has played. So I would be afraid to trade Tannehill before the season starts, and we have no idea what Will Levis is. We have no real idea of what Malik Willis is. And
Right.
also, what wide receivers are going to throw to? They got nobody. I think the Titans are banking on playing wing T. They're going to have that Navy offense. We're going to have six offensive linemen, tight end. I mean, we're going to have no wide receivers. We're just going to run goal line formation the entire time. Because we have Treylon Burks, who's okay when he's not limping around or having an asthma attack. So, I mean, what wide receivers are you going to get? We have Chris Moore. We have Dowden. I mean, come on, man. We're banking on some dude that looks like a gym teacher. Come on now. We can't do we got to do something, man. They got to make a play, trade for Stephon Diggs, do something. And it's a bad deal for all of our quarterbacks. They have no one to throw to. Even Tannehill was like, kind of what I said earlier is I thought we would have picked a receiver earlier. Yeah, no kidding. It's ridiculous. I like the tight end picks. We have good tight ends, but you're not going to win a Super Bowl straight off tight end plays and running backs. We need wide receivers. We need people that can fly, stretch the field. We just don't have it. We have nobody up. So I feel like they have to trade somebody, or this is just negligence. And this is what got J-Rob fired last year for not addressing the offensive line. So Rand Carthen's doing this, neglecting a huge need at wide receiver.
Yeah.
I can see Corey Davis coming back. I mean, I predicted this a while back, or foresaw it. Like, if they cut Corey Davis, Titans should bring him back. I think we'd be interested. I don't know if Corey Davis would be interested, though.
You know, depending on how he's cut, it may not be up to him.
Yeah.
So with Will Levis, I learned this the other day listening to the local radio station 104.5 The Zone.
Shout out.
I didn't know that he went to Penn State or at any point. Did not know that was a thing. In his time at Penn State, he threw like 109 passes. He ran the ball 135 times. So I didn't realize how athletic he was.
Mm-hmm.
The reason he transferred is because he didn't want to run the ball that much. He wanted to throw, but Penn State didn't trust his arm. So he transfers to Kentucky with somebody where they let him throw the ball, and he had a pretty good year when he had some weapons. I think regardless of um, the additions here, I think we're going to be running into the same problems for the Titans because they don't have a weapon as a wide receiver. You're really hoping that Burks takes a massive step forward this year and becomes AJ Brown. Otherwise, what do you got? UT Martin, for real? That's where. What? Come on.
It's embarrassing, and that's why I feel bad for Will Levis. Like, I was pretty decently high on Will Levis this entire time, especially in the beginning of the season. I don't understand the hate for him. I don't understand that he's a weird dude. I really don't care about that. Can he play football? And I think he can play football. My biggest, you know, pros for him, my biggest endorsements is he's tough as nails. I mean, that guy will truck people over. He'll jump over you and then talk crap to that person he just ran over. And I like that. He's a leader. Um, Physical wise, I mean, he's got a cannon for an arm. I mean, even before he got in the combine, he said he was excited to throw just to show off his cannon. And I think that was funny. If you've seen him, then dude's completely jacked. So he is a workout warrior. He's strong. He's not afraid of contact, which could be a little bit of an issue. He needs to learn how to slide a little bit more. Now he's going to be in the big leagues. But I'm excited for that. He does remind me a lot of Josh Allen in college, just a raw prospect that's super athletic. And if you compare their college numbers, they are almost identical, which is really creepy. Yeah, I mean, his weaknesses, we all know that is, I mean, he did throw a lot of interceptions. But as you mentioned earlier, he had no weapons last year. His best year was the year that he had one wide receiver, and that was Wan'Dale Robinson. And yeah, I mean, he's good. He's no like great wide receiver, but he was fine. Everyone always talks about that Tennessee game, and I watched the film for that the other day after he got drafted. I mean, one of those interceptions was a deflection. One of the other ones was just the receiver just couldn't muscle in the ball, and the defensive back got it. The other one was not a great throw. So like everyone's saying that he just was god awful. I mean, yeah, he had a bad game, but it wasn't the worst game I've ever seen from a quarterback. And you're also playing against number 2 Tennessee at the time, and Kentucky wasn't all that.
Right.
So I mean, if they didn't have Will Levis, that would have been a horrible team. I think he's fine. I mean, accuracy is a thing that quarterbacks can work on. It's not like arm strength where kind of you have it or you don't. He's got the speed. He's got the athleticism. I'm happy with the pick. The only thing I wasn't happy about was trading up for him just because we're down picks. We need instant starters. He's not an instant starter unless Tannehill's gone. And also, we only have 4 draft picks next year. We have a 1, 2, a 6, and a 7, I believe.
Sheesh.
Yeah, Titans are hurting for draft capital. It's bad. Because we keep trading for like Ugo Amadis and Dennis Daly's.
Yeah. Well, then my next idea will probably entice you. So you traded up for Malik Willis last year, and now he's looking like number 3 on the depth chart. Because I imagine they're going to let Will Levis go out there and play before they let Malik Willis go out there. So that makes him the most expendable of all of them. Yeah. He still has question marks about him. And I think in this situation, that is the best case scenario for Malik Willis. Because you know the athletic upside. Maybe you can trade him and get like a pick or something of some sort.
Yeah, would be definitely okay with that. Malik Willis, as a passer, I mean, I understand why they're done with him. He looked bad, but he's incredibly athletic, so that could definitely increase his value. He's also very, very young, and he's also an excellent human being. So those are all traits that, people are going to pick a good personality and a good ball player over somebody with a little bit of arrogance issues. So I think the Titans, if we trade up in the 3rd to get him, I honestly think we can get probably a 4th for him, maybe a 4th and then swap 5th or something like that. I don't know. But I don't think he's a 7. And we can't cut him because someone will definitely pick him up off waivers. So it's not like he'd be able to land on our practice squad. And if he was on our practice squad, he'd be poached pretty quick.
Yeah.
So he has to make the active roster. Will Levis has to make the active roster. Tannehill, is he getting traded? I don't know. They were talking about sending him to Atlanta for picks. And I wouldn't be too shocked if that happens. I would miss Tannehill for sure. But if we get rid of him, then I guess we're going to roll with Will Levis, and We're either great or we're horrible, and we're picking first next year and getting a new quarterback. So let's see what happens.
Um, so are there any free agent wide receivers that like could come in to do anything?
No, they're all worthless,
Like hit me with.
honestly.
Do you know any names off the top?
I mean, T.Y. Hilton.
Okay.
We looked that up on the draft show, and they were all just embarrassing. Um, Kenny Galladay, I believe, was on there. I don't have the list up, but they all suck. Okay, Jarvis Landry.
Oh
I
yeah,
think
that's right.
Jamal Hardman got signed though, right? He's on here
Yeah.
for some reason. Yeah, some of these are outdated, but yeah, it's like those guys. Nothing too special. No, what number one? See, that's the thing. Titans need like a number one, at the least a number two. You can pretend Burks is a number one. He can be an imposter, but that's why I really want Corey Davis back.
Yeah. Yeah, and if Corday Davis gets cut, that at least gives you two people to throw the ball to, and
Yeah, because we can't trade. I mean, we can't trade. We have no capital unless we trade a player for a player, and that usually doesn't work out very well.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I can see Kevin Byard getting traded, it pains me to say that. Same with Derrick Henry. It pains me. You know, the big three are Derrick Henry, Kevin Byard, and Ryan Tannehill. Odds are at least one's gonna be gone
Yeah.
by week one, and that hurts.
Yeah.
At the very least, trade deadline. One of them's not gonna finish the season.
Yeah. I guess it depends on how the Titans are doing. I would imagine that Tannehill stays on the roster because you got to have somebody in the quarterback room to be able to teach Will Levis something.
And the Titans have showed no evidence of ever developing a quarterback. None of them. So it's looking grim in Nashville.
Yeah. Ironic conversation on episode 9.
I know. R.I.P. We need Steve back. So we need Mettenberger back, man. What's he doing? I know he's coaching some high school team, I think.
Mettenberger.
Yeah, we need Mettenberger. I was rooting for Mettenberger. I wanted him over Mariota, and I wanted us to draft, I believe it was J.J. Watt that draft. Or somebody. I can't remember who it was.
I don't remember.
Oh, it was Leonard Williams. I wanted Leonard Williams at number 2, and not Mariota.
Yeah, because Mariota was like 4 years after. All right. So I think you got anything else?
I will say my mock draft was pretty close. A lot of the same positions, just different orders. And there was I also mocked no defense. I did get one special team. I got a kicker, which I had Moody in the 6th, and that was an F. But he was really drafted in the 3rd round. So interesting there. So the Titans had no chance of getting him.
Yeah,
I would have been pretty mad if we had a kicker in the 3rd round, though. Honestly.
Yeah, that'd have been ridiculous. You can only do that when your whole team is solid.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think we're up against it here. So, folks, I want to go ahead and say thank you for watching. Blake, thank you for your time and your efforts. Go ahead and hit the like and subscribe button. Got a 10 like goal on this episode. Trying to hit 1,000 subscribers. And we're at 338 at the time of this recording. So help us grow and help us find new Titans fans to be in front of. And don't forget to leave a comment in the comment section below. Let me know if you want a merch store, because we got stuff.
And sub for Steve. Sub for Steve.
And sub for Steve. Because 9.
9.
All right. Well, folks, be good people.